Good morning, students. I, Neelam Verma, welcome you to my next chapter, Class 6, Chapter number 7, Getting to Know Plants. Students, in this chapter, you will learn different parts of a plant. You will understand the structure and functions of root, stem, leaf, etc. You will be able to understand modifications of root, stem and leaf. You will also know about flowers and fruits. Students, here you can see the structure of a plant. We all know various parts of a plant, and the structure or study of plant is plant anatomy. Let's learn angiosperms, that is flowering plants. Different types of plants. Flowering plants and non-flowering plants. Students, plants which bear flowers are known as angiosperms and non-flowering plants are called gymnosperms. We all know that flowers are the reproductive part of a plant and it is necessary for the reproduction in plants. But in the case of gymnosperms, they have some special structures which help them to continue their species. Examples of angiosperms are rose, mustard, mango, and many more. The same way, examples of gymnosperms are ferns, algae, etc. Flowering plants may be classified on the following basis. On the basis of structure and size, they can be classified as herbs, shrubs, and trees. And based on lifespan, they can be classified as annual plants, biennial plants, and perennial plants. Now, herbs. Herbs are small plants with soft and green stem and a lifespan of few months to 1 year only. Examples: mustard, wheat, paddy, grass, coriander, tomato, seasonal flowering plants like balsam, sweet pea, dahlia, pansy, etc. Basically, these are used for food, flavoring, and medicines or perfume. Shrubs are medium-sized woody plants. Their side branches start from just above the ground. The stem of shrubs is hard but not very thick. They survive for several years. Rose, bougainvillea, lemon, henna, etc. are the examples of shrubs. Students, an area of cultivated shrubs in a park or a garden is known as a shrubbery. Trees are tall and large plants with hard and woody stems. They have one main stem called trunk. The branches arise after reaching a certain height, and these trees survive for more than 10 years. They are long-lived and some even reaches to thousands a year. Examples of trees are neem, mango, banyan, peepal, coconut, jamun, guava, etc. Students, let's learn something about climbers and creepers. Students, we have seen money plants at our houses. Yes, and have you noticed that they need some support to climb up? Yes, the plants that take or those which need extra support for climbing up is called climbers. Other examples are grapevine, pea, etc. And the plants which have very weak stems that They cannot stand upright. Instead, they creep on the ground. They are called creepers. Examples of creepers are pumpkin, watermelon, etc. Classification of flowering plants based on their lifespan are annual plants, biennial plants, and perennial plants. Annual plants survive only for one season. Almost all the herbs are annual plants. Mustard, wheat, gram, maize, paddy, and seasonal flowering plants like balsam, sweet pea, dahlia, and petunia are some of the examples of annual plants. Biennial plants complete their life cycle in 2 years. During the first year, they develop only vegetative parts. Flowers and fruits develop only in the second year. Henna, rose, lemon, they are the few examples of biennial plants. Students, shrubs and trees are perennial plants. They live for more than 2 years. Mango, guava, neem, peepal, babool, etc. They all are perennial plants. Structure of plants. All the flowering plants have two main systems, the root system and the shoot system. Root system. Root system is the underground non-green part of a plant. It consists of primary root and its branches. Characteristics of roots. Roots are non-green underground part. They develop from the radicle of the seeds. They are geotrophic, means they move towards the earth. They grow away from light, or we can say they are negative phototrophic. They do not have nodes and internodes. They have a number of little branches. Now, functions of root. Roots anchor the plant in the soil. Roots spread out in the soil and hold the plant firmly to the ground. They absorb water and minerals from the soil. Root hairs absorb water and minerals from the soil. They pass through the root system and shoot system and finally reach the leaves of plants. Roots also prevent soil erosion. How? Roots hold the soil particles together. The soil is neither blown away by air nor swept away by water. They also store extra food produced by the plants, and those roots are consumed by us. The following figure shows the parts of root system. Primary root. It is the main root which develops from the radicle. It is thick and cylindrical, and it grows deep into the soil. Primary root is found in dicot plants only, and students, in monocot plants, primary root disappears very soon and new roots develop from the base of the stem. Secondary roots, the side branches arising from the primary root, are known as secondary roots. Students, we also have tertiary roots, which are the branches of secondary roots. Now, root cap. The tip of each branch of the root has a cap-like structure which protects the dividing soft tissue when root branches push their way through the soil. Now, root hair. Root and its branches are covered with fine root hair. They help in the absorption of water and minerals from the soil. Types of root system. Root system is of following two types, taproot system and fibrous root system. In taproot system, the primary root is thick and long. It grows vertically downwards in the soil, and it is also called true root. Taproot is found in dicot plants like gram, bean, pea, mango, carrot, etc. Students, do you know what is the meaning of dicot plants? All the plants whose seeds can be divided into two parts, exactly two parts, or we can say the seeds which have two cotyledons, they are called dicot plants. And fibrous root system is the system in which primary root is short-lived. It is replaced by a cluster of fiber-like roots. All the branches arise from a common point at the base of the stem, and then they spread out in the soil in different directions. These are also called adventitious roots. Students, fibrous roots are found in monocot plants like maize, wheat, rice, barley, grasses, etc. By the meantime, you must have learned various examples of monocot and dicot plants. Students, you must remember that taproot is found in dicot plants and they are also called true roots. And fibrous roots are found in monocot plants and they are also called adventitious roots. Students, in some plants, roots perform some specialized functions other than anchorage and absorption. These may be specialized to carry out the following functions. First, storage of food. The taproots of radish, turnip and carrot, they store food. As they store food, they are swollen and fleshy. Supporting roots. The supporting roots are of two types, stilt roots and prop roots. In bamboo and sugarcane, adventitious roots arise from the lower nodes, which are known as stilt roots. They grow downwards and they provide additional support to the plants. Students, you must remember, function of stilt root is to provide additional support along with the main roots. In banyan and rubber tree, the additional roots arise from their horizontal branches. These pillar-like roots are prop roots. They grow downwards and penetrate into the soil. As a result, they act as pillar which support these heavy tree branches. Students, do you know that a banyan tree may have hundreds of prop roots? The banyan tree in Indian Botanical Garden, Kolkata, is the oldest banyan tree in India, and it has more than 900, yes, more than 900 prop roots. Now, one more function is climbing roots. The plants of beetle and black pepper, money plant, they have climbing roots. They help the plant to stick and climb up the wall, rock and other trees. The climbing root arises from the nodes. Now, students, we have shoot system. Shoot system is the aerial part of a plant. It includes main stem, branches, leaves, buds, flowers, fruits, seeds, etc. And they develops from the plumule of the seed. Stem bears leaves, branches, buds, flowers and fruits, etc. Characteristics of stem. Stem grows towards light. That is called, it is phototrophic. Photo means light, and as it grows towards light, it is called phototrophic. It grows away from the soil. As just now we have learned that roots are geotrophic, but stems are not. They grow away from the soil. Stem has nodes and internodes. It bears leaves, branches, buds, flowers, and fruits. The point where a leaf or a branch grows from a stem is called node, and the part of stem between two adjacent nodes is called internode. The point from where leaf or branch grows is node, and the part between two adjacent nodes is called internode. And the angle between leaf base and stem is called leaf axil. Students, young stems are green, but older woody stems are non-green, but they are hard. Stem connects the root system with the rest of the plant parts. Functions of stem. The main functions of stem are support and conduction of water and food. Stem supports branches, leaves, flowers, fruits, etc. It keeps leaves spread out so that they can get enough sunlight. Conduction of water and food. Stem transports water and minerals absorbed by the roots to different parts of the plants, and also conducts food manufactured in leaves to other parts of the plant. And that's the reason, students, that it is also called two-way traffic. One way it is transporting water, and the second way it is bringing manufactured food. Modification of stems. In certain plants, stem is modified to carry out special functions other than support and conduction. These functions are discussed here. Manufacture of food. The green stem of annual plants synthesizes food by photosynthesis. In cactus and succulents, the green stem or the stem becomes green and flattened and makes food by the process called photosynthesis. Students, as we all know that cactus and succulents grow in desert, they need very less water to grow. To prevent loss of water, their leaves are modified into spines. Therefore, the stem becomes green and takes on the function of leaves. Storage of food. In potato, ginger, onion, etc., the green stem grows underground and stores food. The stored food is used during unfavorable season when the food preparing green aerial part does not survive. This type of stem remains underground and gives aerial shoots in the next season. This is called perennation. In potatoes, modified stem is called tuber, and the tuber has a number of buds called eyes. Each bud can grow into an aerial shoot. In ginger, the underground stem stores food. It swells up in an irregular form and is called rhizome. In onion, garlic, lily, etc., the leaves store food and become fleshy. They overlap each other and are attached to a disc. This disc is the reduced stem. Such modified stems are called bulbs. In Zimicon, the stem is called corm, C-O-R-M, corm. It is rounded and condensed into top-like structure covered with scaly leaves. It stores food. Support and protection. In some plants like grapevine and passion flower, the stem is weak and some branches are modified into thread-like structures called stem tendrils. They arise from the axil of leaf and coil around the support. In rose, lemon, bougainvillea, the stem is modified into thorns. They protect the plant from grazing animals. Now students, let's learn something about leaves. We all know that leaves are also called the factories of plants or the kitchen of plants. The leaves are green and flattened structures. They arise from the nodes of stem and branches. Let's study structure of leaf. A typical leaf consists of the following parts. Leaf base. A leaf is attached to the stem with its leaf base. Petiole. Petiole is nothing but its leaf stalk. It connects the leaf blade with the leaf base. Leaves with a petiole are called stalked leaves, while leaves without a petiole are called sessile leaves. And do you know that petiole is absent in monocot plants? Yes. Students, always remember leaf with petiole are called stalked leaves and leaf without petiole is called sessile leaf. Lamina. Lamina or leaf blade. It is the green, flat and expanded part of the leaf. Midrib. Midrib is formed by the middle axis of the leaf blade, or we can say that middle axis of the leaf blade is called midrib. It is formed by the extension of petiole. Students, now in this lamina we can find some different structure or very thin fibrous like structure. What are they called? This very fine fibrous structures, or you can say the lateral branches arising from the midrib, are called veins. And veins, they further branch into fine veinlets. Students, the network formed by the veins and veinlets in the lamina is called venation. Students, always remember that dicot leaves always have reticulate venation and monocot leaves have parallel venation. What do you mean by reticulate and parallel venation? Students, the network formed by the veins and veinlets in the lamina is the venation that we know, and reticulate venation when these veins and veinlets form a crisscross structure in the lamina, then that structure or that type of venation is called reticulate venation. Whereas parallel venation is the venation in which veins are parallel to the midrib. Now what's the function of veins and veinlets? Veins and veinlets together support lamina. Yes, they distribute water and minerals throughout the lamina and also transport food prepared by the cells of lamina to midrib, petiole and to various parts of the plant. Students, now let's learn functions of leaves. We all know that leaves prepare food for the plants by the process called photosynthesis. And leaves are also responsible for respiration and transpiration. Let's try to understand these three processes one by one. Photosynthesis. Students, photosynthesis is a process by which leaves prepare their own food with the help of water and carbon dioxide in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. Yes, students, in the presence of chlorophyll and sunlight. So, we can say that the raw material used for the process of photosynthesis is only water and carbon dioxide, but not sunlight or chlorophyll. Only their presence is very important. And then the food prepared by leaves, ultimately it gets stored in different parts of the plant as or in the form of starch. Now transpiration. It is the loss of water in the form of water vapor from the leaves of the plant through their stomata. Stomata are very minute openings which are present on the ventral surface of the leaf, and it cools the plant body during hot summer. Now respiration. At night, when there is no photosynthesis due to absence of sunlight, the leaves of plants breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide. But yes, during the daytime, leaves use carbon dioxide from the air to perform photosynthesis, and it releases oxygen into the atmosphere. And that's the reason that in olden times it had been told to us that we should not sit or we should not sleep under a tree during night time. Now different types of leaves. The leaves may be simple or compound. Students, the first figure is a simple leaf. In simple leaf, the lamina is undivided, as in mango, peepal, China rose, mustard, etc. and many more. We can have our own examples. Then we have compound leaves. In this type of leaves, the lamina of leaf is divided, and because the incisions of lamina reach up to the midrib, thus a compound leaf has a group of leaflets. Their number may be even or odd. Modifications of leaf. Yes, students, leaves are also modified to perform some special functions, and these functions are as follows. Tendrils for support. Yes. Students, in creepers, the leaves or leaflets are modified into spring-like structures. Here you can see these structures are called leaf tendrils. They coil around some object, and it provides support to the weak stem to climb up, as we have seen in sweet pea. Yes. Spines for protection. Yes, students. Can you recognize this plant? Yes, very well said. It's aloe vera. In prickly, poppy, then aloe vera, leaf margins bear spines to protect the plant from grazing animals. Even in cactus, the leaves are modified into spines to avoid less or loss of water by transpiration. Now, insectivorous plants. Yes, students, we can call them as insect-eating plants too. In these plants, the leaves are modified into various structures like pitcher, bladder or fly trap for catching and digesting insects. Students, these insectivorous plants grow in regions where soil is poor in nitrogen compounds, and to fulfill their nitrogen compound or nutrients, they trap these insects and digest them. First picture you can see, it's a pitcher plant. In this, the lamina is modified into a pitcher and petiole into the leaf. The apex of the leaf forms lid of the pitcher. When an insect enters this pitcher, the leaf, the lid can just close the opening of that pitcher and does not allow insect to come out. The second picture is Venus flytrap. In this, the lamina is divided into two parts. Their margins are toothed. They get interlocked when an insect sits on the leaf. And the third one is bladderwort. The leaf is modified into a sac-like bladder to trap insects. Students, once insects get trapped inside these structures, it cannot come out. Instead, after closing their opening, they start secreting digestive juices which helps them to digest these insects and fulfill their nutritive values. Flower. Yes. Flower is the most attractive part of the flowering plants, and it develops from the flowering bud. It is modified to carry out sexual reproduction. Students, let's study structure of a flower. Here you can see a longitudinal section of a flower. At the base, you find one stalk-like structure called pedicel. A flower is attached to the plant with this pedicel only. Now we have receptacle or thalamus. Thalamus is the upper swollen part or swollen end of the pedicel. All the floral parts are attached to the thalamus. Sepals. Sepals are nothing but green leaf-like structures which are present at the base. In a bud, they enclose and protect the inner whorls of the flower. So the function of these sepals is to protect when flower is in bud condition. Usually they are 5 in numbers, and the whorl formed by sepals is called calyx, and calyx is the outermost whorl. Students, sepals, they are usually 5 in numbers, and the whorl is called calyx. It is the outermost whorl. Petals. Petals are brightly colored and the most attractive part of a flower. They have sweet fragrance. They form a whorl just inside the sepals. The whorl formed by petals is called corolla. The whorl formed by sepals was calyx, and the whorl formed by petals is called corolla. Students, because of bright color and sweet fragrance, they attract insects for pollination. Pollination is nothing but the transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma. I will make a separate video for this topic, pollination. Now, stamen. Stamens are male reproductive organs of a flower. They form the third whorl. Stamens are collectively called androecium. Students, each stamen has two parts, an anther and a filament. Filament is a long, narrow, tube-like structure, and at one of its ends we have one bilobed sac-like anther. The filaments are attached to the thalamus, and the anthers have pollen grain. And these pollen grain contains male gametic nucleus and pollinates the stigma of a female reproductive part. Yes. Now we are going to study carpels or pistils. Carpels form the fourth and the innermost whorl of the flower. It is also called gynoecium. This whorl is the female reproductive part. The number of carpels in different flowers varies, but each carpel has 3 parts. First, ovary, style, and stigma. Carpel has ovary, style, and stigma. Now, the terminal expanded part of style is called stigma. It is sticky to trap the pollen grains during pollination. Yes, pollen grains from anther, when they fall on stigma, as it is sticky in nature, it does not allow pollen grains to escape from there, and then it moves through that pollen tube. Second is style. The long thread-like middle part of pistil is called style, and it provides the pollen tube. Inside style we have pollen tube, and through this pollen tube this pollen grain enters ovary. Third part is ovary. The swollen basal part of carpel is called ovary. It has ovules inside it. After fertilization, ovaries grows into fruit and ovules form seeds. Students, here is a mustard flower to study different parts of it. You can see at the base we have stem or pedicle stalk. Then we have green colored sepals. Then we have yellow colored petals. And if description is required, then we can say that stalk, yes, it's present. Then the whorl of sepal, which is called calyx. So we will write calyx. How many sepals are present in this flower? 4 sepals, green in color. Then second whorl from outside, which is made up of petals, is called corolla. 4 petals which are yellow in color, which forms corolla. Now we have stamens, that is male gametophyte or male reproductive part. If we can count, here in this flower we have 6 stamens and 1 pistil. Pistil, it has on the top stigma, then style and ovary at the base. Now students, few points to remember. Accessory and non-essential parts of the plants are calyx and corolla. These whorls are accessory, or you can say non-essential, because they are not associated directly with reproduction. Whereas stamens and pistil form essential whorls as they are directly involved in reproduction. Students, the flower which have all the 4 whorls are called complete flowers, and the flowers that have either male part or female part, they are called incomplete or unisexual flowers. Students, let's learn about functions of a flower. Flowers are reproductive organs of plant. The ovary of flower develops into fruit and its ovules form seeds. The seeds grow into new plants. Yes, students, seeds are responsible for the development of a new plant. Flower, they beautify our surroundings. Actually, they are so attractive that they are grown to beautify our surroundings. The nectar of flowers is collected by honeybees to prepare honey, and Perfumes are also prepared from flowers. Cloves, which are dried flower buds, which we use as spices, actually they are also used as medicine. So we can say that we have so many functions of flower. This function of flowers helps us to conclude the chapter. I hope you all have learned it so nicely, as this chapter is the base of your higher studies. Students, I hope you all have enjoyed learning with me and you have understood this chapter very well. And if you want to learn more with me, wait for my next video. Till that time, goodbye. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Thanks, students.